super successful instant money-making products, they already have quite an audience. Because as we've learned, showing up for your audience is like number one. You know, I know James Wedmore, one of our mentors, often says, like, if you're waiting for the sales page to sell, it's too late.
The sale happens before that.
Right. The sale happens before the sales page.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of the people that have these really successful launches with our clients and just other people we've seen do an incredible job at selling before the launch.
Right.
You
really,
can have literally the best launch, like you can have the best strategy, have all the money in Facebook ads, do all of the things correct, the right way. But if you don't have a captive audience that likes you, you're going to come up short.
Right, or if you're trying to sell them an offer that it's not aligned with who your audience is.
Yeah.
We've seen time and time again when people are going into this, they spend all this time creating materials, creating their course, creating all this stuff that they want to sell, but they haven't sold it to anybody yet, right? Yeah. One of the, I think, most important things that people need to talk about in this world, this whole like online marketing launching world, is when they say like, oh, I had this great launch with 0 people on my list. Okay, what is it that they're selling? What was the price point? How much did they spend in ads? Mm-hmm. Were they featured on podcasts? Like where was the big break? Where did the traffic come from? Because if you just start a new page, start a new product, and go out there on Instagram and say, hey, this is what I'm selling, and it's $2,000. Who's gonna, like, know, or trust you enough to buy that? Maybe your mom, maybe a family member or somebody. So we see a lot of times that either somebody's already successful in another niche, and then they come over to this online business world and they create a course, and they already have a following, which is great. If you are that person, if you have a nice following online, you just don't have an email list that you've been marketing to, chances are you're going to get some sales. You might have a 5 to 6 figure launch from that. And another expectation that I want to kind of debunk is a lot of times people will come to me and I'll ask them, when are you planning on launching? Because we know that it takes several months. Even working with our expert team, it takes several months to prepare for a big launch where you're going to be having like all these moving parts going on. You have to plan things out. You have to get really detailed with what's going to happen. You have to build it all. You got to test it. And then when it comes game day, hopefully everything's already set up and you're not scrambling last minute to build things. That's why we always tell people you got to have like a 90-day window of going through all the stuff that you need to do before you launch. And I've had people come to me and say, oh, I'm gonna launch next month. And I was like, well, where are you at in the process? And they're like, well, I'm just getting started, or I'm making my course. It's like, wait a second, you're making your course?
Well, that to say that you can launch a beta.
You can launch a beta in a month.
So if for that person that's like, I'm just creating my course, great. You can launch a beta in a few weeks. If you already have some sort of a list, a small list, a big list, or you have a following, you can launch a beta in like a week or 2 weeks. So
and what you're
talking about is like a formal big launch with a long runway of a product that is already proven. You don't want to spend 90 days on a launch of a product that you've never tested if it's going to be successful. That is a big waste of your time and money. Like that's why we're big proponents of the beta test, because you need to beta test something before you're going to spend all this time and energy launching it. So if someone comes to us that is newer and they're creating a new offer, we're going to suggest, let's beta it first.
Yeah, let's just see if you can get some sales from it. Let's see if the people that are following you, that are out there, that are already on a list, if you have one, or already follow you, if they would purchase it, right? Yeah. So we also like to suggest to start, at the top. Start with, if this is something new that you're getting into and you don't have proven clients who have purchased something like this before, start with one-on-one, start coaching, find somebody that needs your services, needs your teaching, your training, your mentorship.
Right.
Do it with one person first, get results for them, and then you can turn that into a group coaching program with like a small group, or you can turn that into a course or something along those lines. You want to sell the idea first, maybe with an outline, to see if people would actually purchase it before you go ahead and make the entire course, or go in and record all your slides or something like that.
Right.
Find out first from your following that you've built so far, would they buy it?
Yeah.
Just throw it out there. Just be like, hey, thinking about doing this. Would anybody actually buy it? See what happens. And if they say yes, you say, okay, here's my PayPal, send me the money and I'll build it for you.
Yep.
That way you're not wasting your money, you're not wasting your time or anything like that.
So as you were saying, your point of, if you were to come to us, or because we're launch coaches, we fulfillment team, if you were to come to us with wanting to do your launch and you did have a proven product, our whole process, the framework we've developed is 90 days. So at least. I mean, really, that's why I feel like Marie Forleo, people like her and James, they launch once a year now, because they spend all year on their podcast, their Instagram, their blog, whatever it may be. They spend all the rest of the year building up this audience and giving away free, awesome content and being a thought leader.
So getting them in the right mindset for the offer.
Right. So we do not recommend rushing a launch unless it's a beta. Then you can kind of just,
you can be scrappy with the beta.
Right. You throw it together, but a actual formal launch that you are expecting great results from takes time.
Exactly.
So that's what we were trying to say about expectations of the launch.
Right. Now you do want to set your goals. So when you're setting your expectation of what you want to have, you want to set your goals. And we are all about setting really high goals, ones that make you feel scared to even set it as a goal, because you're afraid maybe not to, if you hit it, if you don't hit it, you might be upset with yourself. Set that goal anyway. Set a nice high goal for yourself to reach for.
Do it.
But at the same time, you have to let go of if you don't hit that goal.
Yeah.
You have to let go of the results of how things go. You have to understand that most experts in a certain subject, in a certain topic, it takes 3 years or more of them saying every day, showing up and saying, I'm an expert in this, 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 for people to really start to understand and for people to start to really believe you. You can believe that you're an expert, and that's what you need to do in order for others to believe, but it does take a year or 2 years of positioning and launching and putting it, putting that product out there, putting that service out there and growing it.
Yeah.
And learning from taking action.
Ask you this. I mean, if someone launches a product and gets 0 sales, does that mean it's a bad product?
Now we're getting into the meaning of it. Yeah. So what does that mean? Ahead. No, that's cool. That's a good, foray, a good transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. The meaning, what meaning you're putting on those results. So if you were expecting to sell 100 units and you sell 0, what does that mean? Does it mean
it's happened to us?
Does it mean that you're terrible? Does it mean that you're a failure? Does it mean you don't know what you're talking about? Does it mean that people don't see you as an expert? It doesn't mean those things.
No.
It doesn't mean that the program wasn't valid.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it wouldn't have been helpful. What it probably means, if we let go of these meanings that we put on these numbers, they're just numbers. It's just saying that there was 0 sales. Probably it wasn't marketed as well as it could be. 2, maybe nobody knew about it or got the right people.
Didn't warm them up enough.
Maybe the audience wasn't the right people.
I've had that where I just kind of pop out with hey, this is what I'm doing. And it's you give people no warning. So I know with the Confident Homeschooler, that's what I did kind of last year. I just kind of sprung it on people. And now I've learned so much about
nurturing, growing.
And that process of through your pre-launch phase, you're talking about the limiting beliefs and kind of dismantling all the mindset stuff that get in the way of them purchasing.
And the people that are successful with these big launches, even with little launches, successful little launches, it's the people that don't give up. It's the ones that show up, they launch, they might not get the numbers that they wanted.
Resilience.
It's okay. They learn what worked well, what didn't work well, what did they enjoy, what did they not enjoy, and they continue to move on from that, and they go and they relaunch and they market and they grow their audience even more.
Yeah. Because it's really a lot of times not about your product or your offer. It's more about your messaging and just the way you're launching it. Sometimes you pick the wrong launch style. Sometimes you do a webinar when you should have did a challenge. And sometimes you just could, if you have a great email list, you just do an email launch.
Mm-hmm.
They can launch right from your email list.
Right. So it's all how your audience is
consuming
your information, consuming your content. I mean, if you were to be marketing to busy working moms, right?
Yeah.
They got kids, they got they're taking care of things at home, they're taking care of things at work. They might even have another extracurricular activity that they're a part of, or a group that they're a part of where their attention is there as well. And if you're going to do a live launch during the day when they're at work, they might not be able to jump on your live launch. If they're not the type of people that open up email, they might not see any of your emails that you're sending out, even if they're on your email list. So just sending out, emails, or just doing a live Facebook or Instagram, or just running ads on Facebook, it might not be where your people are, or it might not be how they consume information. So what you want to do is you want to get your message in front of the right people the right way, the way that they consume that. And so when we put meaning on the results from our launches, all we're doing is trying to reflect our insecurities out. And we use those numbers to justify that we are stupid. We shouldn't be doing this. Who am I to do this? That imposter syndrome that Serena was talking about before. But the ones that are successful, the people that we work with, that we see that are successful, are the ones that don't give up. They keep pushing, they keep going, and it gets bigger and it gets better. Even sometimes when they have a great launch and then they have another launch that they invest even more money into, or they invest in hiring a team or bringing in some new resources, and it doesn't do as well as the one before that was scrappy, it doesn't matter. They're like, hey, it's an investment, it's part of business, I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to get better the next time.
Exactly.
So that's what we wanted to talk about today. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
And if you're watching a replay, let us know. We'd love to hear.
Yeah, we want to know what you're working on. Who's launching in the next quarter or so?
Yeah.
Let us know. Because if you're doing a proper launch and you're thinking about, I want to do a year-round membership next year and get people to sign up in January, you got to start planning for that now. So, yeah, let us know what you've been working on and what you're going to be doing. Thanks again, everybody, for watching.
Bye. Thank you. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.